Hey guys, what is up? It's Jay, and today I want to talk about the PlayStation Vita, and why you just can't seem to find new titles anywhere outside of GameStop or online. But before I get into the actual video, let me just state that this is not something I'm going to be doing often, or really much at all, but I thought I'd give my reasons as to why I believe this is. But unlike everyone else who's argued with me, I'm actually going to provide evidence that I've actually found, and stuff I've personally been told. So I'm going to do this the best way that I've figured out that works, and that's kind of numbering the arguments. Like, this is the first argument, then give my evidence on why I think it's correct or a valid argument that I'm making, then say this is the second argument, and so on and so forth. So let's begin. The PlayStation Vita. Not what you would call popular, or really well known much outside of hardcore PlayStation fans. Stores like Walmart and a few others have completely taken out their entire stock of Vita stuff, including all of the games, consoles, and all the accessories, pretty much except for the memory cards. Or at least my local Walmart still has the memory cards, but likely not for long. But why have they taken all of them out? That's where this first argument comes in. I'm not going to mention any usernames, but someone gave me this point. And it's not word for word, because the chain that this was on actually got deleted, but still, the premise is every single video game retailer in America has completely stopped stocking new Vitas or new Vita titles. There's a word, or well, it's two words, in there that are very specific. And those are the words that I made sure that I remembered to give you guys. The words are every and single. Not most, not a lot, not even just the word every. No, specifically every single retailer. And they did say in America in their thing. I actually think it was every single retailer in America was the exact words, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. But whatever. You kind of get their point. It was very clear that they were talking about every last one in the entire country. That was their main point. But is that really true? I actually can invalidate this entire argument with one picture. This image right here is a screenshot, or a couple screenshots, from GameStop's website. These are 10 games that haven't been released yet, from now until October so far. These are physical copies, all of which will be stocked at GameStop stores. You know, GameStop, a retailer in America? This person was very, very adamant about not one single retailer stocking new games. Yet here we are looking at a picture of a retailer who will be stocking new Vita games. So this one image already invalidated that entire argument. So let's move on. The second argument is actually going to be a little long, so I'm sorry, but bear with me here. This argument is that the sole reason that Walmart and these other stores took them out was because it failed financially. And that's the only reason, that there's no other reason, is what they said. I'm not saying that this point isn't true. I know the Vita failed. But I'm going to be actually getting to that in a moment. The argument was actually given to me after I already did my own research on it, because I actually wanted to know. While you, the viewer, likely doesn't care enough to actually go ask those stores directly, I do. And I did. There were only two people that gave me answers that actually made sense though. Best Buy told me that they were actually focusing on other stuff and they had way better things to worry about. Which, that's fine. I respect that answer completely. And one Walmart employee told me that she had no idea why, because her and her friends really like the Vita and they play it all the time and stuff like that. But what did the other places tell me? This is where it gets really interesting. And I'm not saying that this is the truth either, because I don't work at these places, so I don't actually know. But so many people saying the same thing, just slightly different wording, but the same basic idea, kind of makes you wonder. The most given response is that they don't stock new Vita games because no one buys them. What? Do these people actually hear themselves or think before they speak? That doesn't make any sense, and here's why. How do you know nobody's buying them? You don't put them out for sale, so how can you say that? The newest titles that are at Fred Meyer and Best Buy, because they actually still have a few, and the newest games I remember seeing before Walmart took them out, were games that were like 2 to 3 years old. They're basing their hypothetical sales on new titles based on sales of games that, if people already wanted them, they already bought them 2 years ago. Hey dumbass, of course no one is buying your games that are 3 years old. Tell me, how many people come in looking for a new Super Mario Bros. U? No one, that's who. Why? Because if they wanted it, they already bought it. You know, back when it was still considered a fairly new game. Yeah, you can't complain that no one is buying things from you if you don't have them for sale in the first place. I actually have a really good example. So, close your eyes and imagine, okay, you don't have to close your eyes, but whatever, just imagine this because it'll help. Okay, so imagine, you're the owner of the local flower shop. You sell everything, wait, no you don't. You don't sell yellow roses. You sell white and red roses, but not yellow, specifically. Got that in your mind? Now, someone comes into your store and they say, why don't you sell yellow roses? What is your response? Is it, we don't sell yellow roses because no one buys them from us? No, of course not, because remember, you didn't sell them in the first place. This is literally the exact same reason for these stores not selling new Vita titles. And I say their exact reason because it's what they told me. I'm not saying this is the definitive reason, just the reason I was given, so that's what I have to go off of. So, anyway, what's next? The third argument isn't directly about why they aren't sold, but why the Vita failed, financially. Because, yet again, some people just don't understand how the world works. I swear, if I had $1 for every person that argued points to me that had no idea what they were talking about and just talking for the sole purpose of needing to open their big mouths and say something to be the big man on campus, I'd at least be able to buy a new gaming PC and better recording equipment. This argument is actually really odd because I was never given reasons. The only things that were said to me were, no you're wrong, and a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to repeat, but no actual reasoning to counter my reasoning. So the person doing this, and yes it was one single person who was about as dense as a 1-ton block of solid steel, kept telling me that advertising had nothing to do with why it failed. Like, at all. And even mocked me like a little kid, which, I mean, I actually assumed they were a kid because no adult can be this stupid. It was pretty clear by their words that this person has never sold anything or worked in a retail environment, or honestly, been to a damn store in their entire life, however long or short that has been. Anyone who has worked in retail or sold anything ever would know that it's near impossible to sell your item if you don't advertise it as the thing people can buy. How many commercials are there for the Vita? Maybe 3 total. I didn't check, but not many. What about the last time that any of them were aired on TV? What was it, like a year after it came out, and then they stopped? So how do you know when things are no longer being sold? Because advertisements and promotional stuff all just kind of goes away and you never see it again. How many games have come out for Vita since they stopped showing the ads for the system? Way too many to count. Hundreds of non-indie games have come out since then. Not one of them got a commercial. So how are people supposed to know there are even games still being made? Let's shift this to systems that sell very well. Xbox One and PS4, you probably see a commercial every other day. And 9 out of 10 commercials is going to be for the latest game that's coming out. What about the 3DS? Not as often, but what happened when Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask, the latest Animal Crossing game, the new Fire Emblems, Bravely Second, and so many other games were releasing? They all had tons of airtime advertising them. In fact, they still play the Bravely Second one, and it's been out for like a week now. When's the last time you saw an ad for a Vita game releasing? 2013? Maybe one in 2014? I don't know. But there have been hundreds of games since then, and yet not one commercial. And it's the worst in sales? If you don't see the connection, there's not a lot more I can say to you to help you get it. But it's common sense that if you don't show people that there are still games being made for a system, you can't honestly believe it'll sell. By not showing ads of any kind for new games being released, that makes it look like there isn't any, which will make people not want it because there's nothing to get for it. Or so they think because they aren't being told that those games are actually coming out. Alright, so that's all I've really got here, but it's actually a lot. Remember guys, this is not me saying that any of this is proven fact. This is all based on research I actually took the time to get, unlike literally every person that argues with me about it. If you don't have any evidence, then I don't want to hear what you have to say, because unless you have proof, then you can't say it's a fact. And like I said in the beginning, I won't be really making much of stuff like this anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But anyway, that's it for the video. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys later.